The POWERSTEP XTreme from Research is an automated running board that instantly extends when you open your door and then hides itself, safely out of sight when the doors close. And with 4 strong mounted motors, POWERSTEP XTreme is designed to hold up to extreme environments where rockers can get caked with ice and snow or mud. And if you're just fairly good with your hands, you can install POWERSTEP XTreme yourself. Let's get started. Today we're installing on a 2018 Ford F-150 Super Crew. The bulk of the installation is the same for most other trucks, but please consult the printed instructions that came with your POWERSTEP XTreme for details on your particular model. Here's what you'll need to do the job. Okay, the first step is to gather up the 4 included motors and prepare to attach them to the 4 linkage assemblies. You'll also need the included 4mm socket cap screws and washers. Next, seat the motor into position on the 3 mounting bosses. Note that you may need to adjust the gear by moving the swing arm. Then, fasten the motor with the screws and tighten with a 4mm Allen wrench socket to 36 inch-pounds. Do not over-tighten. Assemble the remaining 3 units. Note that there are 2 specific forward linkages, driver and passenger side, and 2 corresponding rear linkages. Each set has a specific mounting hole pattern, front or back, that matches the front or rear stud pattern on the truck. Okay, now here on our F-150, take a look underneath the driver's side of the truck and locate the existing mounts for installation of running board linkages here and here. Now mount both linkage assemblies. Make sure the units sit square, fully resting on studs before you tighten. Attach the 3 13mm mounting nuts, starting with the one closest to the gear housing motor. Use your socket or straight wrench to tighten to 16 foot-pounds. Repeat these steps for the passenger side. Okay, it's time to install the harness. First, remove the fuse from the wire harness, then connect the factory controller. Note that these connections only go in one way. Do not force them into place. Now connect the harness to your battery, the red wire to the positive terminal, and of course, the black wire to the negative terminal. Then, use the 2 provided 11-inch zip ties to mount the controller to a nearby stable location, away from heat and any moving parts. Note the end of the harness splits into 2 sections, one shorter and one longer. Route the shorter end of the wire harness down the passenger side wheel well for access underneath the truck. Then route the longer end above the engine, and then down through the driver's side wheel well. And here's a tip: following an existing factory wire harness is a safe bet. Be sure to route your new harness sections to avoid components that move while the truck is in operation, and also away from components that get hot. Note, don't zip tie as you go. It's best to wait until the entire harness is fully extended and plugged in before securing. Route the harness to the linkage assemblies on both sides and plug into the motors. Now you can secure the new harness to the existing factory harness with the supplied zip ties. Next, we're going to run these 2 purple wires into the cabin. Start by pulling up the driver's side front kick panel and door sill plate. Roll back the carpet to expose the bare floor panel. Now, the F-150 Super Crew has an existing hole and grommet for easy access to the cab, but the other models may require drilling a hole for those wires to pass through. Please consult your printed installation guide for details on that. Now, because this is a Super Crew, we are dealing with a grommet. Locate it and remove. Poke a small hole through it and thread the 2 trigger wires up into the cabin of the vehicle. Replace the grommet and then seal it with silicone sealer. Now, splice both sets of the purple wires and connect the plug-and-play module using the supplied Posi-Lock connectors. Take note to match the wire with the black stripe to its corresponding partner. Plug the module into the truck's OBD2 port. Now route your purple wires through the existing channel and then replace the trim pieces you removed. Next, we're going to prep for the LED lights. Take a look underneath the driver's side of the truck. We're going to be drilling 2 holes in the pinch weld here for the wires to pass through. Here's a tip: do the drilling with the doors open, as that'll help guard against you accidentally scratching your truck's finish. The 2 drill locations are approximately 22 inches and then 66 inches from the front door edge. Use tape to indicate these spots. So on this truck, it'll be roughly here and here. Use a center punch to mark the spot, 1/2 inch midpoint of the pinch weld, and use your drill to make a 19/64 inch hole. Use a handheld deburring tool to clean up the hole, and lastly, insert the supplied grommet. Now, route the LED wires through the hole, clean the rocker panel with rubbing alcohol, and stick the light on as shown. Splice the ends of all the wires and connect using supplied butt connectors, red to red and black to black. Use your striping tool to crimp connection, and finally, use a heat gun to shrink the tubing to seal the connection. Secure all loose wires with zip ties. Repeat for the remaining 3 LED lights. Okay, now it's time to put on the steps. Note that if you are installing on an F-150 Super Cab, you'll have to cut 13 inches from each board. The end cap here comes off, and when you're done cutting, you'll put this cap back on. It's important to use a saw blade that's rated for metal, and be sure to have your board secured for cutting. Our Super Cruise boards here don't need trimming, so on to the next step. Now, reinsert fuse into the wiring harness and open the driver's side door to allow for the linkage assemblies to activate. This step puts both linkages in the fully deployed position, assuring they're level and aligned. This allows for a proper installation. Next, for safety purposes, remove the fuse again before you proceed. Carefully place the left running board on top of the linkage assemblies. On the underside of the running board, you'll see 2 sliding T-nuts, used to attach the boards. Slide these to align with the 2 linkage assemblies. Insert the supplied socket screws, but keep them loosely fitted for now. Next, we're going to gently slide the board into its final alignment, having approximately 11 inches between the edge of the rear mount and the edge of the board. Tighten the socket screws to 10 foot-pounds, using a torque wrench with a 3/16 inch Allen socket. Repeat these steps on the passenger side. Lastly, put the fuse back into the wire harness. Check to see that the power steps activate properly and the LED lights work when the doors open and close. During normal operation, the power steps automatically deploy from under the vehicle whenever the door opens. And when the doors close, the steps automatically return to the retracted position. Note that there's a 2-second delay before the steps stow back into place. Now, when the LED lights are operating correctly, all 4 lamps illuminate upon opening any door of the vehicle. The lamps will stay on until the power steps are stowed, or with the doors left opened, they'll stay on for 5 minutes and then turn off. Note, if you want to keep the steps extended with the doors shut, you can override the stowing feature by placing your foot on the steps for a few seconds. So that does it! Your POWERSTEP XTreme automated running boards are installed and ready to roll. Thanks for watching. For more information, visit amp-research.com or call 800-309-6823.